What happens when a comedy titan steps into a late-night interview, expecting friendly banter, only to face a host with a sinister agenda? What unfolds when that same comedian realizes he's been lured into a trap for public humiliation on live television? Tonight, we're diving into the explosive clash that saw Chris Rock storm off Stephen Colbert's set, leaving the host exposed in one of the most shocking moments in late-night history. Trust me, you won't believe how low Colbert stooped. Before we unravel this wild story, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment below with your take on talk show ambushes gone wrong. It was a Tuesday evening, and the Late Show with Stephen Colbert hummed with its usual energy. The audience buzzed, eagerly awaiting Chris Rock, the main guest, there to promote his latest comedy special. Rock's appearances were always a highlight, his sharp wit and easy charm a perfect match for Colbert's polished humor. The cameras rolled, the crowd was warmed up, and Colbert sat behind his desk, that familiar smirk in place. But tonight, something lurked beneath his polished exterior, a calculating glint in his eyes that hinted at trouble. Chris Rock strode out to thunderous applause, his signature swagger undeniable, waving to the crowd with a relaxed grin. He looked at ease, ready for a typical late-night chat, unaware of the storm brewing. "Chris Rock, everybody," Colbert announced, his voice carrying its theatrical flair. "Thanks for being here, Chris, I've been looking forward to this for a long time." Rock nodded, flashing his $1,000,000 smile, the one that's made him a comedy legend. "Always good to be here, Stephen, thanks for having me." They shook hands, exchanged pleasantries, and Rock settled into the guest chair, adjusting his jacket, exuding confidence. But then Colbert's expression shifted, his smile tightening, a deliberate pause as he glanced at his note cards, loaded with intent. The audience didn't notice, but the air grew heavy. "Let's dive in, Chris," Colbert began, his tone sharpening. "I want to talk about your recent comments on the comedy industry, specifically your views on accountability in entertainment." Rock's eyebrows lifted, caught off guard. This wasn't the lighthearted opener he'd expected, but he was a pro. "Well, Stephen, comedy's about pushing boundaries, making people think while they laugh. I believe comedians have a duty to be honest, even if it's uncomfortable." Colbert leaned forward, his posture predatory. "Interesting you mention responsibility, Chris, because I've done some research, found old clips of your stand-up from the early 2000s that our audience might find enlightening." The audience murmured, sensing a shift. Rock's smile faltered, but he held steady. "Oh, really? I've been at this over 30 years, Stephen. Plenty of material out there might look different through today's lens." "Different's one way to put it," Colbert replied, his voice laced with disdain. "But let me ask you, do you think public figures, especially comedians, should face consequences for crossing lines?" Rock shifted, sensing the trap. "Context matters, Stephen. Comedy's about timing, the moment, connecting in real time. Pulling bits out of context, especially from decades ago, doesn't help anyone." Colbert's laugh was cold, calculated. "Context, right, let's provide some, then." He turned to the camera, his theatrical flair in full force. "Ladies and gentlemen, here's Chris Rock, in his own words, from a 2003 performance." The studio monitors lit up, displaying grainy footage of a younger Rock. The clip was surgically edited, stripping away context, showcasing only the most controversial snippets from a nuanced 45-minute set about relationships and social dynamics. The audience watched in uneasy silence, the edited version making Rock's words seem inflammatory, far from their original intent. Rock's face shifted from confusion to fury. "Stephen, what the hell is this? You're taking that completely out of context. That was part of a longer bit about modern relationships. You're showing 30 seconds to make it something else." Colbert turned back, feigning innocence. "I'm just showing what you said, Chris. These are your words, aren't they?" "My words, yes, but not my intent, and you damn well know it," Rock shot back, voice rising. "This is the kind of gotcha nonsense killing honest conversation. You invited me here under false pretenses." The studio went deathly silent, tension thick as a blade. Colbert, though, seemed to relish it. "False pretenses, Chris. I wanted an honest talk about accountability. Isn't that what you preach in your comedy, honesty?" Rock stood abruptly, chair scraping the floor. "Don't lecture me on honesty, Stephen. You sit there every night pretending to be some moral authority, but what you just did is manipulative, dishonest. You ambushed me with edited footage. That's not honesty, that's character assassination. Colbert stayed seated, his composure infuriating Rock further. You're overreacting. Chris, I'm asking you to address your past statements, isn't that fair? Fair. Rock's voice cracked with incredulity. You think it's fair to lure me here, then sandbag me with edited clips out of context? You think it's fair to try to ruin my reputation for your entertainment? The cameras captured every second, producers likely panicking in the control room. But Colbert appeared in control, as if this was his plan all along. Chris, calm down, Colbert said, his condescension dripping. This reaction just proves people are right to question your accountability. That was the breaking point. Rock stepped toward the desk, rage blazing. Accountability. You want accountability. How about you own up to lying to me and my team about this interview? How about you own up to this setup? Security stirred, sensing the situation spiraling, but Rock pressed on. I've been in this game long enough to spot a trap. Steven, you didn't invite me for a conversation, you invited me to humiliate me. I'm not playing your game. Colbert finally stood, his civility slipping. You're paranoid, Chris, this is journalism, asking tough questions. Journalism. Rock laughed bitterly. This is a hit job. Real journalists provide context, ask fair questions, don't edit footage to make guests look bad. You're the opposite of journalism. The audience was frozen, some uncomfortable, others riveted, all aware they were witnessing history. Colbert's voice sharpened, his reasonableness cracking. Maybe the problem isn't my questions, Chris, maybe you can't handle being challenged. You think you're immune because you're Chris Rock. Rock stared, chest heaving. You really want to go there, Steven. You want to make this ugly. I can play dirty too, but you won't like it. The threat hung like a storm cloud, Colbert's eyes narrowing, a flicker of unease breaking through his arrogance. Oh, I want you to, Chris, he replied, false bravado in his voice. Enlighten us, what are you threatening me with? Rock stepped closer, his voice a dangerous whisper, carrying more weight than shouting. I'm not threatening, Steven, I'm giving you a chance to end this with some dignity, because if you want dirty, I know things about this industry, this network, about you, that make your edited clips look like a cartoon. Colbert's face paled, but he clung to composure. You're trying to intimidate me on my own show, Chris. That's the behavior I've been talking about. Intimidate. Rock laughed. No humor in it, I don't need to. Steven, the truth's intimidating enough. Should I mention the 2019 Christmas party incident? Or how you treated your female writers during last year's contract talks? Maybe your cozy deals with network execs. The audience gasped, whispers rippling through the crowd. Colbert's mask crumbled. I have no idea what you're talking about, you're having a breakdown. Breakdown. Rock's voice surged. The only thing breaking down is your act. Steven, you thought you could drag me here, ambush me with edited footage, and I'd take it like some newbie begging for airtime. You picked the wrong guy. The audience was transfixed, some on the edge of their seats, others filming on phones. This wasn't entertainment, it was a reckoning. Colbert tried to pivot. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for Mr. Rock's outburst. He's clearly unable to handle legitimate questions. Legitimate. Rock whirled to the audience. Folks, here's what legitimate looks like. A real question would be, Steven, why'd you edit that footage to hide I was doing a character bit on double standards? Or, why skip the part where I said I was playing devil's advocate to show how absurd those views are? He faced Colbert, fury peaking. But you didn't want real questions, did you? You wanted a viral moment, to destroy someone for ratings. Colbert's response betrayed his intent. The industry's changing, Chris. People who can't adapt need to be held accountable. Your comedy pushed boundaries, but some shouldn't be pushed. Who made you the judge, Steven? Rock demanded. You mock politicians, public figures, anyone you disagree with nightly, but now you're the morality police. That's hypocrisy. The audience murmured, nodding, seeing through Colbert's facade. His own comedy thrived on ridicule, yet he posed as an ethical arbiter. There's a difference between political commentary and your clip, Colbert said, voice tightening. Political commentary. Rock's laugh was harsh. Half your show is mocking appearances, accents, personal lives. You've built a career on it, but now you lecture me on lines. The crowd's agreement grew, some shaking their heads at Colbert's duplicity. Sensing the room slipping, Colbert tried another tack. You're deflecting. Chris, the issue is your inability to own problematic content. Problematic by whose standards? Rock shot back, yours. Some focus group. Social media mobs who didn't see the full set. You showed 30 seconds of a 45-minute performance. That's not accountability, that's manipulation. I showed your words, Colbert insisted. You showed my words stripped of meaning, context, purpose, Rock countered. It's like quoting, I hate puppies being abused, you misrepresented me for your agenda. Colbert grew desperate, his ambush unraveling. Our audience is smart enough to understand what they heard. Your audience is smart enough to spot manipulation, Rock replied, facing the crowd. They see a host who invited a guest under false pretenses, edited footage to lie about his words, and now tries to gaslight you into thinking this is journalism. The energy shifted, the audience no longer with Colbert, some glaring, others whispering in disgust. Chris, you need to leave, Colbert said, voice shaking. Oh, I'm leaving, Rock replied, dripping with contempt, not because you're kicking me out, because I won't play this farce. He started toward the exit, then turned back. What's sad, Stephen, as you used to be funny, you knew comedy was about uniting people, finding truth through humor, now you're just an angry man tearing others down to feel big. Colbert's face burned, a mix of rage and shame. Security, escort Mr. Rock out. I don't need an escort, Rock said, dignity intact, I know. The way out, unlike you, I've still got my self-respect. The studio fell silent as Rock walked off, head high despite the ambush. At the stage's edge, he paused, turning back. Stephen, when this airs, people will see who you really are. That's not my fault, it's yours. The words hit like a sledgehammer, Colbert's smugness gone, replaced by raw panic. Don't walk away acting like a victim, he called, voice cracking. You're not the victim, you're the problem. Rock stopped, turning slowly, voice deadly calm. Excuse me, Colbert gripped his desk, unraveling. You waltz in here, acting untouchable, like the rules don't apply. They do, Chris. Stop, Stephen, Rock warned, you're about to say something you can't undo. But Colbert was unhinged. No, I'll say it, you think your legendary status lets you threaten me. Your career peaked 20 years ago, you're only relevant because people pity you. The audience gasped, the malice undeniable. Rock's face stilled. Stephen, I'm giving you one chance to apologize. Apologize. Colbert spat, for telling the truth, that you're a has-been who can't take criticism. Rock nodded, calm but lethal. There it is, the real Stephen Colbert, not the TV character, but the petty, insecure man who tears others down to feel tall. I'm not the one melting down, Colbert shot back, trembling. Meltdown. Rock's composure was stunning. I came for a professional interview, found a setup by someone who wanted to ambush me for kicks. Look around, Stephen, your audience came to laugh, they got a character assassination attempt instead. The crowd stared at Colbert, some standing to leave, disgust clear. This interview's over, Colbert declared. Damn right, Rock replied, it ended when you chose ambush over conversation. Rock walked off, pace measured, dignified. Don't expect an invite back, Colbert called, petulant. Rock turned, a sad, triumphant smile on his face. Stephen, I wouldn't come back if you begged, but after tonight, you won't be inviting anyone anywhere. You think you can destroy me? Colbert whispered. I don't need to, Rock said, devastatingly calm. You destroyed yourself on live TV. I didn't make you edit that footage, ambush me, you did that. He faced the camera, voice steady. Folks, this is what happens when someone forgets comedy's about uniting, not dividing. I'm sorry you saw this. Rock turned to Colbert one last time. I hope you get help, Stephen, this isn't who you were, it doesn't have to be who you are. With that, Chris Rock exited, leaving a shattered host behind. The studio was silent, Colbert frozen, the weight of his actions sinking in. Cameras rolled, capturing his unraveling, a man who'd tried to ruin a legend but obliterated himself. The audience sat stunned, some booing softly, others whispering, all knowing they'd witnessed a career implode live. This wasn't just a clash, it was a lesson in integrity, exposing a host's betrayal and a comedian's resilience. Colbert's attempt to shame Rock, backfired, revealing his own hypocrisy, while Rock's dignity cemented his legacy. What do you think? Was Colbert's ambush justified, or did he cross an unforgivable line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories of Hollywood's wildest moments.